So Joe, give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Fantastic. Doesn't, yay, there we go. So this was this time last year. This was my son, Abe, who was then 5, soon to be 6. This was Jax, who I'm sure we'll talk about today. And this was the Wadebridge Pavilions back in the day when we could actually meet with each other, which feels like quite a novelty. And little did I know that that little boy would be sat beside me for much of my working days, many of my working days, due to something called COVID. So he's got very used to hearing about the work that you all do and the work of Cornwall Wildlife Trust. We did a Nature in Lockdown survey June, July time last year, and lots of members, and I'm sure many of you responded to that survey, many of you shared photos and videos, and it just became so overwhelmingly clear how important nature is for our lives, particularly when it comes to something like a pandemic, with 96% of people saying nature was helping them to relieve stress, mental well-being and physical well-being as well. And that the support for nature just seems to be an all-time high, in part because of the pandemic. Now I'm very lucky to live near that, just underneath that arrow in Falmouth. So throughout the pandemic, myself and my family got very close to our local beaches, and a dose of vitamin C became something that kept my mental health and my physical well-being going, by going down to the beach. And our new challenge became beach cleaning, and what's the weirdest thing we could find on our local beach. And much of that was inspired by a lot of the work that you all do, and you are encouraging people to get out and about and to take care of their local environment. And I don't know if you can see me, but the weirdest thing we found, well, not the weirdest thing, the most special natural thing we found was this grey seal jaw, which was found by that little boy that you saw earlier, Abe. To begin the year, though, we had the absolute highlight of being down at Sennan, and not only was it a sunny day, which is quite a rarity, as you all know, but we managed to see the humpback whale that has been visiting over New Year. So that was a highlight so far of 2021 for us, and I wanted to share that with you because it's just such a special thing to see, and it that day kind of reminded me of those 3 words: engage, inspire and protect. That's what it's all about. And today for me, I really want today to be about celebration. Today is not a day to be sad that this programme is coming to an end. Today is a day to be glad that we've done it, that you're all here, that we've got this set up and running, and that we've got lots of opportunity to take this work forward in the future. 2021 is a big year for marine conservation. A lot is happening. The government have announced the highly protected marine areas, and we need to work with them to see how they're going to pan out to get some real protection for our seas. We've got the G7 summit coming to Cornwall. That's an opportunity for us to showcase what we do so well here in Cornwall. And we've got COP26, and I think there's definitely something that we should be saying to COP26 about the power of people when it comes to engaging, inspiring and protecting the seas. So I'm going to sit back and let you take over. This conference is always one of my highlights of the year, and as I say, it's about being glad we've done it, not sad that this particular programme is coming to an end, because there's lots that we'll learn from it and lots that we'll take forward. And I'm sitting rather uncomfortably because if this is a party of celebration, I decided to get dressed up. So I've got my shark suit on. And I thought I might see some others of you wearing something special, but I don't know, maybe that will come through during the event as it goes through. Yeah, lots of people have showed me their logos. Brilliant, thank you for that. So I'll hand back to Joe and look forward to everything that's going to come out of the day, but well done.
Thanks so much for that, Carolyn. You've got me, not Joe.
Sorry.
Well, you did know that. It's okay. So yeah, hi everyone. I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully, yes, can everyone see that? Okay. Amazing. Well, for those of you who don't know me, I am unmuted and everything, aren't I? So yeah, for those of you who don't know me, obviously I'm Jen Sanderford and I am the Youth Engagement Officer for this glorious project, the Onshore Beach Rangers project. And I'm going to talk a little bit, just sort of celebrating how the Yorkshire network and the project has been bigger, stronger and younger for 5 years. So hopefully... Oh, there we go. Fab. So yeah, celebrating 5 years of the Onshore Beach Rangers project. Obviously, you know, we need to start off by saying a massive thank you to our project funders. We've been really lucky to be funded by the National Lottery Community Fund as one of our Bright Futures 31 projects around the UK. I think I can speak for everybody who's worked on the project, and it's really lovely to see so many people here today, obviously present and past people working on the project. What an amazing experience it's been to be part of our Bright Future, because I think sometimes we can all feel it in conservation. You can feel quite alone, and linking up with these just such inspiring projects around the UK has been a fantastic experience. Knowing that you're part of that, not just like regional, but a national sort of project. And it's led to some great things for us as well. You know, we have had our youth forum representatives, so we've had young people from the project who have met, and some of them are here today as well, which is great, that have met up with the National Youth Forum, and they've created, you know, well, the 3 asks that I'm going to talk about briefly in a second. You know, but they've been able to be part of that bigger picture too, which I know has been an amazing experience for them. So yeah, the 3 asks, in case you guys aren't aware of them, but hopefully we've pushed them enough. So yeah, young people they want to learn more about in or about nature. They want to be heard and play an active role in society, and they want to get some support in getting those environmental jobs. Or I know a point that was raised at one conference that Jack's attended, or have that sort of empowered feeling to make sure every job is an environmental job. And that is a lot of what we've tried to achieve with the young people that we've worked with as well. So what's been great as well is that it's really broken down those barriers for us. Is, you know, money shouldn't be an issue when it comes to engaging with the environment in, you know, marine or terrestrial. So being able to supply that equipment for people and young people, being able to get people in the water without having to, you know, charge them anything, I know for me it's just been, one of the best parts about the project, definitely. So yeah, thank you. So what have we achieved? I'm just going to sort of have a brief look over what we've actually managed to achieve, obviously with help from our friends, and that is you guys. I'm not going to start singing, but you know, we couldn't have done any of this without you, and that is a complete fact. So what have we achieved? So events and workshops over the 5 years of the project. We've done over 1,000, so obviously they vary, and I'm going to look into them in a little bit more detail, not too much in depth, because you are going to hear from more project officers as we go along throughout the day. We've engaged with over 16,000 11 to 24-year-olds over the 5 years, which I think is an insane amount. And then under 11s, 5,000, probably just under 5,000 under 11s. And then so 24 plus, we're looking at 13,500, which I think, you know, is it for us, you know, I feel really proud of that as an achievement. We've absolutely smashed our targets out of the water. And I know that the rest of us are really proud of what we managed to achieve with your help. I can't stress that enough. So this has included a huge amount of Beach Rangers Academy sessions. So they varied from on the beach to classroom sessions, and you know that has been taken online, and it's continued throughout lockdown, which I know Brenda is going to talk a bit more about as well. But really proud of that achievement. We've supported the establishment of 5 new groups. So this is a jam-packed meeting up at the top left there with Mounts Bay, and then we've got one of the sort of first meetings there with 3 bays as well. You know, busy. As well as the other 3 groups, which I know Abby is going to speak about as well. So we've looked into alternative engagement. I've said this a few times, but I know it shocks us all that some people don't like rock pooling, which is insane, but it's true. So we looked at different ways. We wanted to make sure everybody could engage with the environment. So, you know, we did ocean movie nights, we did ocean art workshops, we ran Sea at the Sea Festival, which we also took online as well. And then we did things that sort of looked more about helping well-being. Jack's ran the Everybody's a Beach Body, which is looking at positive body image. And, you know, so we sort of, it's something that meant a lot to us to make sure that it was really inclusive for everybody. And we also, as we said, we took our activities online. I think we responded and adapted really well to the pandemic. And, you know, we got out a lot of really meaningful content to people so they could still engage with the project. We wanted to give people something positive to focus on in such a difficult time. We've had 3 amazing apprentices. You know, these 3 ladies, so Jodie, Moena and Adele, you know, literally the project would not be anywhere near as good as it has been if it wasn't for you 3. You have really led the way and you've taught us all a lot when it comes to social media and, you know, that sort of marketing side of stuff. You were all incredible and thank you so much for all your help. Countless community training events. So, you know, there's a sort of session up there with Mounts Bay, and then at the bottom, lovely Delia Webb from Cornwall Plastic Pollution Coalition supported me. We worked together and delivered a workshop about engaging with young people, well, and children, because we do love that collaboration working. So, yeah. And then obviously Love Your Beach, which was a really, you know, I've been speaking, all the groups will be like, oh, Love Your Beach, Jen, keep going on about it a bit at the minute, so I do apologise. But, you know, I really enjoyed coming up with the concept and it meant a lot that you guys all sort of got on board. And I really hope that it's something that continues after the project as well, even though it's February and it's wet and it's raining most of the time. And then tons of people in and around the sea, which, you know, we all know, again, how much I love banging on about how much I love snorkeling. But, you know, there's been other events. We've got people co-steering, radical rock pooling or rock pooling, doing beach cleans or doing the great egg case hunts. We've done it in any which way that we can. And we've really, really enjoyed it. And we sort of refer back to that engage, inspire, protect, because that is our key message. Our theory, and I think we're right, is if we can show people how incredible our marine environment is, that will inspire them to want to protect it. So that's, you know, underpinning everything we've been doing. And not to mention this mighty gathering, as I like to call it, the Whopping Yorkshire Conference has grown and it's developed. You know, I remember the first one I went to, which was 2017, and it was before I'd started the job, but Abby invited me and Nat invited me anyway. And I know Abby embarrassed me and was like, oh, we've got our new youth engagement. I had to stand up at the back, but it's been an amazing thing to be a part of. And to, again, having that feeling like you're part of a bigger picture. You're not going it alone. We all work together and we work together really well. And go on, Abby, were you just going to say?
Time's up.
Time's up. Just wanted to say thank you. So that was perfect timing. Well done, me. Just wanted to say thank you because I don't want to get all gushy or emotional, but it has been an absolute pleasure working with you guys over this 5 years. Well, 4 years that I've been in the project. Thank you for accepting us into your conservation bubble and working with us to engage so many people around Cornwall. So thank you very much.
Okay, thanks so much, Jen. I'll now share my presentation. No, don't look at all of those bits. I should have done that smoother. Thanks, Jen. That was just lovely. We're trying to hold it together today and not weep in between talks. So yes, hi everybody. I'm Abby. I'm project manager for Yorkshire Beach Rangers, but as always, I speak as someone who's not only involved in a work capacity, but as someone who is part of the Yorkshire network on the ground with a role within St Agnes Marine Conservation Group. So I'm really proud to present the following slides, and I hope I do your work justice, because when I was putting this presentation together, I just didn't think that 15 minutes 6 slides and my words was enough to show and talk about what you are all doing. But as a quick introduction, in parallel with all that valuable work engaging young people in Cornwall's marine environment and its conservation, and you're going to hear about that next from Brenda and Zoe, Yorkshire Beach Rangers has obviously continued to develop the Trust's Yorkshire network of local marine groups, and that's what this map is showing here. So members of which are making up our audience today. So hi everybody, we're absolutely gutted not to see you face to face. We adore seeing you every year and being together, but don't worry, we've got plans for 2022 already. But yeah, so we're supporting this network, but we've also been, as Jen mentioned, setting up new groups in Three Bays, Falmouth, Mounts Bay, St Ives and Bude. And that has resulted in a network, a total of 17 groups associated with the Onshore network. And it's via these groups and the project team, as Jen mentioned, we've directly engaged with 13,500 people, which is astounding. But obviously that number doesn't actually represent the total number, because you all have your own engagement programs and you're probably reaching thousands of more people in that time. And it's actually something I do want us to think about when we talk forward and during our Yorkshire meetings, how we record that information, because it's actually really valuable data to show the power that we have when, let's say, we need to put pressure on government, or even if we need to find funding, things like that. So we'll talk about that in the future. Now, the map on this slide of the network represents to me two things. One, it shows that on the ground, individually, you're doing amazing stuff. You know, you're making a really big difference to your patch of coast, but together you are such a powerful force implementing real change across this county. You know, we have thousands and thousands of members. We've got thousands of voices joining our campaigns. We've got thousands of hours of volunteer time, you know, out there practically conserving and monitoring our environment. And we're all running thousands of events engaging with residents and, of course, the visitors to this county. So if we take a moment to reflect on that, I think we can really appreciate what a special and inspiring thing we are part of. 17 groups. I don't know where that came out separately. Now, this slide is a bit of, that's a lovely beach clean shot from Jane Pickles from Polseth Marine Conservation Group. And it's just a great slide background, isn't it? It's got a quote there from Natural England's Building Partnerships for Nature Recovery Action Plan, really snappy title. At the moment, we are reading a lot of strategic documents, you know, whether that is Cornwall Council's Climate Change Action Plan, whether it's looking back and reflecting on the maritime strategy for Cornwall. And as quoted here, we are seeing continuously the importance, the recognition of the importance of working with and through people to undertake the action to rebuild our ecosystems. That means, you know, they are recognizing we need you to achieve the visions and what is set out in those documents. So you are so important and make things happen. And I cannot emphasize enough how relevant that is even now. You know, we're facing an ecological and climate crisis. We're leaving the EU and the implications that can have on our environment. And we're even, to add to the mix, we're recovering from a global pandemic. So, you know, your voice, you are needed, your voice is needed, and your local group's voice is needed. But as always, there is a lot to be very positive about, of course, and there's a lot to celebrate this year, actually. You know, this is a year, we were at a big conference recently, and they're continually calling it a super year in the marine conservation circles. We have the opportunity to make meaningful change this year. You know, we can put pressure on the legislation being brought about by the UK government as we leave, you know, the EU and due to Brexit. We have the, you know, the ability to make positive change there. We have the potential to bringing in highly protected marine areas, which is just a phenomenal development in how we protect our coasts. We have the G7 summit coming to Cornwall in June, and we even have the United Nations Climate Change Conference happening in November in Scotland, which is insane. It's so much to be positive about, and it is a really exciting year for us all. So I wanted to celebrate Yorkshire Your Wins over the last 5 years. So the conservation efforts of the Yorkshire network. And I sent an email out and a Facebook message to try and get you all to ping me some of your highlights. And I'm just going to present the tip of the iceberg. And I'm trying to represent what you do, but please, caveat, I cannot represent everything you do because it is just so huge, voluminous. But what was one of the best responses from Three Bays Wildlife was just a bullet point saying, "We exist!" ! And that's amazing. That is a highlight for us, that this project has brought about new groups, as well as a highlight for them. But in addition to just existing, groups have been part of some really phenomenal campaigns and practical conservation activities. There is absolutely no doubt the network has helped influence the creation and designation of marine conservation zones in this county. One of the most important developments, in the history of marine conservation. So well done, everybody, for being part of that and putting your name to it. Looking at some of the pictures here, the network was instrumental in making Refill Cornwall a success in 2017, a project that Yorkshire Beach Rangers led in partnership with Keep Britain Tidy and Clean Cornwall, and of course Refill founder the epic Debs Rosser. So several of the groups took that initiative on, they took it into their communities. It resulted in at least 12 plastic bottle-free communities. And since then, Polzeth, which is in my top right, have of course taken it a step further with their refill fountain scheme. They are paving the way with that in this county, and we should be so proud of that. Beach Cleans, and that's my top left, obviously play a central role in a lot of the group's activities. Practical conservation work. We've got Friends of Portheris Cove, support 25 regular volunteers, and have removed 12 tonnes of rubbish from their coves, footpaths and lanes around Pendeen. And St Agnes ran a beach clean which was so popular that they ended up cleaning the entire village because they had the capacity. So that's the sort of, audiences we're looking at. Linked to litter, Newquay Clean has been set up by Newquay Marine Group, which is a fantastic partnership. And of course, the Loo Marine Conservation Group founded the most incredible crab line recycling scheme and Crabbing Code, which is receiving national news coverage. Invisible pollution has not been forgotten, so it's not all big stuff. Even the invisible stuff is incredibly important to tackle. And Loo and Bude Marine Group led the extremely successful Yellowfish campaigns, which work with communities to raise awareness about sources of water pollution and water quality in their catchments. So well done, guys. That's the picture in the middle. And then conservation action has branched into monitoring and control of invasives. So that picture in the bottom right is the Pacific oyster. And Cornwall Wildlife Trust, in partnership with Natural England, have supported the groups to run surveys and work, including Helford, Falmouth, Roseland, Foy and Parr. So well done everyone for your hard work on that. And Friends of Parr Beach also highlighted to us, and it's bottom left for me, that it's not just marine environments, it's terrestrial environments within their catchments. They come hand in hand, which need protection. And they've done some amazing work with tree planting on their nature reserve and building an otter holt. And Newquay Marine Group have recently set up Friends of Fistral to begin conservation and management work of their dunes. I mean, that's just an amazing amount of work done by volunteers. So citizen science and monitoring. I think Matt Slater's name came up about 24 times in responses to my email, obviously, because he's brilliant. And a key activity, and one I'm sure Matt will mention later, are the group's role in Shore Search Cornwall. So we have dozens of surveys happening around the county each year, bringing in valuable data to the Environmental Record Centre. Moving away into larger species, Mounts Bay, Newquay, St Agnes, Falmouth and Three Bays all support our Seaquest Southwest public sea watches and surveys to collect amazing data about Cornwall's marine megafauna. St Ives Marine Group and Wembury have moved forward from that and how to protect those sort of species around our coastline. St Ives ran disturbance workshops in 2020, and Wembury have been working with the local community to develop codes of conduct. And finally, there have been a variety of research projects as well as those citizen science programs. Most recently, there's been incredible mapping of the loose seagrass beds in partnership with the University of Plymouth. Caveat, that's not the actual map, it's just one I had on my file. Sorry, Amelia and crew. But yeah, the seagrass bed monitoring that they have pushed forward. Polzeth are creating a report about their local population of the St. Piran's crab, and the Roseland set up an intertidal transect near Poscatho, carrying out the annual big seaweed searches. So fantastic work, guys. And I know our government agencies really appreciate what you are doing and helping them gather the data that we need as evidence about what is happening around our coast and how better to manage and protect it. And finally, local groups, of course, we cannot not mention engagement. A key role of the groups is to engage with local residents and people that visit our county of all ages about the incredible environment on their doorstep. And goodness, do we do it well. It's just amazing. I mean, I had about 1,000 photos for this slide. And so I just was, by this point, I was like, my head was buzzing. Rockpool Rambles, I need to say no more. I think we have hundreds of rambles, but I hasten to add, they are held in a responsible way following our Seashore Code. Bude have taken a step forward from Rockpool Rambles by developing a species of a week on their social media platforms, which is really effective and getting really good reception. Groups have run extremely engaging programmes of talks and seminars. One highlight being Brendan Godley from the University of Exeter, attracting more people on a wet December evening in St Agnes than he did at Oxford University from all of their zoology, biology, ecology students put together, which left everyone gobsmacked. And even during lockdown, groups have been moving online with talks, improving their websites and social media, and continuing to engage with thousands of people across the UK, let alone Cornwall. There's been firsts for the network. Mounts Bay Marine Group ran the first silent disco beach clean, an idea that we've now stolen and bought a load of silent disco beach clean stuff. So no, only kidding, but something actually that other groups can do because we have the equipment now for you to borrow and loan thanks to this fantastic project. And Three Bays ran I Spy Wildlife for 3 Bays, which really brought wildlife alive. Friends of Portheris Cove have run exhibitions and events that have attracted over 5,000 people. And we cannot not mention Rain Peninsula's Beach Care, famous headline grabbing bottle top chain, 65,000 bottle tops collected over 3 months from Cornish beaches, strung together to a 1.1 kilometre chain to highlight the issue of plastic bottle waste, which was taken to the European Parliament in Strasbourg, which was displayed at the Royal Geographical Society in London and presented to Prince Charles and Camilla in Cornwall. I mean, this stuff is bonkers. You couldn't make it up before the Onshore project existed, I think. It's just fantastic. Lou Marine Conservation Group, yeah.
It's under 1 minute.
Yeah, got the fire side. Lou Marine Conservation Group made history by changing their historic town event, the Raft Race, into Plastic 3 with the Throw Jelly Not Balloons campaign. Polzeth Marine Group have revamped their marine centre, making it more accessible for the public and displaying the most beautiful litter art. Big shout out to Laura and the team for doing that. It's really eye-catching. And one group tops the engagement volume, Wembury, by appearing on Country File and watched by millions for their 25th anniversary in BioBlitz. So well done, Wembury. You win on millions of people watching that event. So I've come to an end. I could create an entire conference around the conservation wins of the Yorkshire network, but we must and will find a platform to keep sharing these achievements. Platforms such as our monthly meetings, newsletters, social media. It keeps us all motivated, it keeps us all engaged, and of course, importantly, united. We don't know what's around the corner for the marine environment and its conservation, but we know something will be coming. And we need the Onshore network more than ever to speak up and keep pressure on and make positive change. And to support this, I do want to highlight that regardless of whether you're a group who runs 24 events a year and leads a national campaign, or you're a group that just meets regularly and runs 3 Rockpool Rambles in August, it doesn't matter. You are all valuable. The fact you exist and you're ready to speak up for the coast and the sea is valuable. So thank you, everyone. On behalf of myself and the team, we are genuinely in awe of what you do. So I'm already looking forward to seeing what we achieve at our next conference next year. Thank you, everybody. Oh, stop share.
Hi everybody, I'm Brenda Wilmot and I'm the project officer for the Beach Rangers Academy, and I'm just going to share my thoughts about what we've been doing, what we've achieved, before I introduce you to one of our actual beach rangers. So, whoops, okay. Hopefully that's all working. It wasn't working yesterday, it was a bit of a panic. When I was thinking about putting this together, I just realised that when I first started this nearly 5 years ago, I had no idea that I would be standing here 5 years later telling people about the amazing success of the Beach Rangers Academy. When Ruth Martin and my colleague at Cornwall College Newquay and I had this idea, we thought, well, that's a crazy idea, but we'll give it a whirl and see what happens. And I don't think either of us ever thought it would kind of take us to the place we've got to today, with thousands and thousands of young people being involved in it. So it developed from an idea to a plan based on the 3 Our Bright Future asks, which Jen mentioned earlier, and the required outcomes of the project in terms of targets for numbers. So, but the Academy has reached thousands of young people in schools from early years right the way through to secondary, to colleges, to universities, to youth groups, homeschools, to out of education groups, and many, many more, including universities and both nationally and groups internationally as well. It's got no boundaries relating to age or ability. It's been completely inclusive, and I think that's one of the really nice things about it. We've never said no to anybody. So it had a really simple aim, which was just to help young people grow a connection with the environment that helps them develop this environmental conscience that they take forward into the future, improving their employability prospects and their own well-being. And it wasn't just about environmental jobs, it was about jobs that, so they take their conscience into every job that they go to and work from the inside out to help protect our environment. So for those of you who don't know the Academy, how can that possibly be true at this stage? Everybody should know about it. A quick heads up from this slide, it runs a little bit like D&V, so it has 3 different levels and it has elements that they have to achieve during each level. So you can just see it, you progress through it from bronze to gold, a bit like D&V. And just a quick example, this is the bronze, an example of the bronze really. So it involves getting involved, so community, working with your community, volunteering for a certain number of hours, and the life hacking, which we thought was a more cool name than training, which is about spending time learning things that might benefit them as well. So we've done everything from winds, waves, tides, rock pooling, marine ID, to communication skills, being safe at the beach, being a first aider, being sustainable, being digitally safe, understanding finance. A whole range of the breadth of what we've delivered is amazing. Then there was a Get On It, which was about engaging with an event and actually thinking about that event from an environmental perspective and how that event affected the environment that it was actually placed in. So it could have been, I don't know, it could have been the Falmouth Oyster Festival, or it could have been Boardmasters, but relating back to us what they thought about it and what they learned from it and about how it affects the environment. And then the 4th section was the I Fit, which isn't actually about fitness at all. It was about being healthy, mentally, physically, learning about your own well-being, learning how to stay safe digitally, learning to be a good team player, learning to be a leader, and developing their voice, but generally looking after themselves and fitting into their tribe, if you like. And these are just a few pictures that I've kind of snapshots from the thing. This is a group of NCS students learning about beach safety with Steve. This is our amazing Learn Your Way group for actually litter picking. A bit more about that in a minute. These are some university students during lockdown actually learning about beach safety and first aid and resus. And here are, this is something that the Learn Your Way group, not only did they pick up litter, but they used that litter to create jewellery and things that they could sell. And they created their own Etsy shop. And you've got to go and see the shop. It's absolutely amazing what these young people have done. Unbelievable. And here's the amazing Evie from Newquay, who we awarded her a hat and a coat, a Beach Rangers coat, because all through lockdown and right the way through now, she spends hours at weekends and evenings after school on the beach litter picking. She is an absolute inspiration for such a small person. Absolutely delightful young lady. And this is a snapshot again taken during lockdown of, this is Bodmin Community College students, and they were learning about plastics and sustainability. And this was kind of a stage towards it inspired them to go on to try and turn their school into to achieve eco school status, which is fantastic. And this is a group of mini beach rangers, actually, all wearing their branded coats. And this, what Jen said about inclusivity, is really important, because we all assume, because we tend to have wellies and coats and blah, 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 to go to the beach. And it transpired that, we realised that there were some children at Trinance Learning Academy, these mini beach rangers, who actually didn't have that. They couldn't always go after school in a cold winter's day to the beach because they didn't have the right equipment. And we were lucky enough, as Jen said, because of the funding, to be able to provide them with the opportunity to go down to the beach and learn from Carl all about, they were actually at the boating lake here, learning about how the tide floods the boating lake on occasions in Newquay. So yeah, amazing things that they've been doing. And I need to say some thank yous, really. So, before I say thank you, this is just what it all culminates in. So the Beach Rangers, mini, junior and full Beach Rangers had the opportunity to win awards right the way through from bronze to gold, and certificates that they can carry forward with them and use in their portfolios for their employability. Beautifully made, laser cut, locally grown wood. They were beautiful. And I need to say thank you to these guys, because these guys are the trainers. This is just a snapshot of a few of the trainers, actually, because there have been so many over the course of the 5 years. Sarah, who teaches healthy living and nutrition. Steve, who teaches everything from first aid to beach safety to teamwork, leadership. Rianne, who's developed amazing programs on digital well-being and just general well-being, plastics and sustainability. The awesome Jen at the bottom there on a boat. Yeah, she is waving. Yeah, amazing. Actually getting out there on the beach in all weathers, I have to say. Talking about a marine ID. And Carl Feist-Thompson in the centre there. Again, awesome guy teaching us. Not only did he teach children, though, but we actually had, I think, in 2 sessions talking about being a beach teacher in school generally. And he actually... we had, I think, 70 odd teachers on the first training that we did who wanted to learn about how to do this stuff outside. And I'm not just talking about marine ID, I'm talking about maths and English and science. And amazing, he was inspirational for those. Fran next door, who teaches yoga and Pilates and fitness stuff. Connor, who teaches rewilding and sustainability and environmentalism. And Newquay Yoga, who have done an amazing job all the way through lockdown, helping us with our well-being. And these guys are inspirational. They're so much fun and so engaging, I can't tell you. And they just never say no. Doesn't matter what I throw at them, doesn't matter how last minute it is, they always rock up and they're always there, making it fun for the young people. And I can't thank them enough. Without them, this would not have been what, the project it was. So just to move on, and this is just, again, a snapshot of some of the agencies that we've engaged with, some of the schools. It's so broad, everything from NCS to universities, to Learn Your Way and Spectrum, and schools from kind of early years at Trinance who are like reception right the way through to people leaving university and beyond. And we've supported our Beach Rangers once they've left university, helping fund training to improve their employability. It's been an absolutely awesome thing. And I have to thank the teachers, actually, and the organisers, the head teachers, the staff in these schools, the support staff that work with these young people, because actually it's quite a big thing to trust somebody with your pupils, when you've got a minimum time, you've got a curriculum you've got to deliver, you haven't got that much time. And to actually trust us with their young people, I think is testament, to the project, but also to the fact that, how nice it was that they allowed us in to actually help inspire these young people and to get them involved in the project. It's been great because we've really seen a difference. We've seen young people growing their environmental voice. They are caring and they are passionate, and they're so engaged with their community and the environment. That's an absolute delight to see, and we know that they're going to carry on past the point when this project finishes. Now I'm getting really emotional about that. I'm not going to talk about that. On to the next one. So just moving on briefly, and these are just a few pictures of some of our awesome graduates or alumni, really, of the project. And again, they are superstars. Many of them are here today, actually, and I want to say thank you to them for getting involved and staying involved, actually, and sharing their enthusiasm. Yep. Yeah. And sharing their energy and enthusiasm with us, actually. Their enthusiasm for marine conservation is just beyond anything that I've ever seen before, and they've been an absolute delight to work with. I can't stress that enough. But also vice versa, I have to mention the marine conservation groups and thank you for engaging with them, because actually that's a massively important thing. And just a few highlights really briefly that I wanted to say. So Membry, Abby mentioned Membry, but they've been doing amazing stuff working, with young volunteers, and they've gone on, their young volunteers have notably gone on to further education, higher education, or employment, just in the local economy and around the UK and beyond. Perranporth Marine Group they've created a digital newsletter for young people, and they're also working with an college graduate to do that, and they're also looking to continue their beach rangers training at the end of the project. Polzeth, amazing, just supporting a young person who's a marine ranger, helping find accommodations, supporting them and giving that mentoring that is so important when you're starting out in life. And many of the groups have taken up the Yorkshire community pot of money, which has given them opportunities to buy things and run things for young people that we just are so grateful that you actually made the effort to put that into place for us. So thank you to everybody that supported me and the Academy, and that's the team, the Beach Rangers team, so Jen and Jax and Nikki and Nat and Di and all, Morwenna and Adele and Jodie and Abby and Joe, everybody. It's been amazing, so thank you. Thank you to my colleagues at Cornwall College, who probably got really fed up with hearing me bleating on about beach rangers and dragging them in to do things and help whenever. The trainers, obviously, the teachers who let us have their children to play with, and the community groups, and every beach ranger that's ever been part of this project. And I'm going to hand you over now to one of our alumni, just to tell you a little bit about her experiences. She's a graduate of a marine sports science degree at Cornwall College, Newquay. She's a gold beach ranger and actively involved in working now and with her community group. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen and hand you over to Zoe.
Perfect. Thank you, Brenda. Hi, I'm Zoe. I don't have any slides to share. I am just going to talk because I feel like there's lots of slides that go on during Zoom meetings, and I'm just going to talk. So before Brenda and Jen, when they asked me to speak about my reflection of the project, I hadn't actually sat and reflected everything that happened in 3 years until now, and I didn't really know where to begin in terms of what I'd gained from the project and how it has shaped me. So I started, like Brenda said, the Beach Rangers project when I joined Cornwall College to study marine sports science back in 2016. And I was already involved in my local community initiatives and outreach projects in local schools, but I never really knew my identity in that group because I wasn't from an organisation and I wasn't representing a company like everyone else was. So the Academy really allowed me to define who I was, and it gave me the confidence to use my own voice and to not be afraid to speak up. So the Beach Rangers programme was suggested to me as a way of channeling the volunteering that I was already doing and to gain skills and courses which benefited me, which sounded like a win. And Di, who worked on the project way back at the start, he put me forward to be the youth representative for the project. And it was quite funny because I didn't really know what the youth representative was. I just signed a bit of paper and went for it. And it gave me the opportunity to meet other like-minded young people from all over the country that worked on loads of different projects that were funded by Our Bright Future. The Youth Forum meetups were a chance to grow my confidence in speaking up for what I believed in, and to realise that there are other young people out there who do have strong opinions towards our environment. I remember standing up in front of a secondary school assembly, and if Claire from 2 Minute Beach Clean is here, she'll remember it well, and she delivered a lovely speech, and then she handed over to me. I spoke about 2 words and then just handed straight back to her. Complete brain freeze, didn't really know what I was doing. It was horrible. And I really didn't want that to happen again. So for me, that was something I took into the Youth Forum, and it really gave me the chance to big up the Beach Rangers project and to speak about the marine environment and to learn how to do it with passion and with confidence. And I also realised that any opportunity to rave about how great Cornwall is to the rest of the country definitely takes away some nerves. So that was great. The Beach Rangers Academy, the bronze, silver and gold, was something that I did alongside my studies at Cornwall College, and the two worked together really, really nicely. One of the modules that I did at Cornwall College was events management, and it resulted in me working on the UK Pro Surf Tour, and then this allowed me to tick off one of the boxes in the events management section of the academy. And there was also often a lot of crossover, so the project was great in the sense that it really worked around what you wanted to get out of it, and they never really forced you into learning certain things that really weren't of an interest to you. So since leaving the project...
1 minute.
Okay, so since leaving the project, I have continued to engage with my local community and have gone on to work for Parley for the Oceans on their summer tour, which was pre-COVID. And that was amazing, real eye-opener to find out that we kind of like live in a bubble down here, real forward thinking bubble, but it was great to be that first point of contact for a lot of people around the country. Also, it was sponsored by a beer company, and turns out people do quite a lot when you offer them free beer, so that was great. I absolutely love my local community down here in Bude, and I will continue to engage with them moving forward. And I now currently work in social media and digital design, but the Beach Rangers project taught me, like I think Brenda mentioned, a lot of us are volunteers and we do have other jobs. It doesn't matter what sector you're in, because it's my job now to be an ambassador within the company that I'm in to challenge them on their sustainability and environmental impact. So I'll just finish up by saying a massive thank you to the project and everyone I've met and worked with along the way. You've all inspired me to believe in myself. And the project is something that's definitely shaped me to being the person I am today. So thank you, massive thank you, and back to Brenda, who I think might be muted.
And I think we're handing over to Morwenna now.
Yep, yeah, so I'm Morwenna. I'm the current project apprentice, and I'm very excited to introduce the next section of the conference. It's time to show you the incredible and quite emotional end of project film. So you've heard all of the amazing things that this project has achieved, and this film, made by the wonderful Lewis Jeffries, celebrates all of those achievements over the last 5 years and the legacy that it's leaving behind. So we hope you enjoy it. I'm going to hand over to Lewis now to tell us a bit more about the film before you get to watch it. So Lewis.
Hi guys. So yeah, just thanks for having me on firstly. So I'm basically the filmmaker behind the Onshore Beach Rangers film. It's been nearly a year in the making. And yeah, thanks very much for having me on here, like I said before. Yeah, it was a thoroughly enjoyable project to work on, from development stage, like right through to delivery. And that was really down to the amazing and passionate team who are an absolute pleasure to work with throughout the project. The oceans and nature is my main passion in life and my work, and the reason for me pursuing this career in filmmaking and photography. My ambition is to tell wildlife and environmental and conservation stories to try and help make a positive difference. So to be able to work with like-minded people like all of you guys who are so passionate about nature and care about it so much has been a dream come true. Projects just like this are exactly what we need more of right now, to inspire and empower the younger generation to become stewards, ambassadors and guardians of the environment, to protect it for the future. Hearing from the Beach Rangers Academy students about how the project has improved their lives and nurtured their passion for nature has been heartwarming and inspiring, and no doubt they'll go on to achieve even more great things. I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank the whole team and everyone I worked with during the project for being such a joy and for choosing me to tell your story. I honestly couldn't think of a more enjoyable or meaningful project to have worked on. I really hope you all enjoy the film and it does justice to this truly brilliant project. I'll be around to answer any questions you might have after the film, and we'd love to know what you think of it. And if you want to get in touch about any video projects, or if you're interested in my work, then there's some links up here to my email and Instagram. And yeah, so without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy the film. Thanks very much.
I've just popped a link in the chat for you to go and watch it on YouTube, because it's the best way to look at it. So go and have a look and then come back when you're done.
And remember to click HD in the settings as well.
Okay, everyone.
Right, so remember, guys, as well, you can add more than one thing. Oh, here we go. So carbon reduction, careers in conservation, knowledge, inspiration, awareness. Nice.
I think we need to mute all. Jen. Hang on, I've done it.
No one should be.
There we go. I've done it there. All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll
Interesting. Behavioural change. Interesting. Very interesting.
That's really weird because no one should be able to unmute themselves.
Abby, is it your YouTube?
Okay, yeah, that's
another video.
As well in a bit.
Guys, it was my YouTube. Thank God, that's what came up.
Well,
a bit of a comedy interlude there. I really thought we'd been spammed by someone that was really interested in our work. Anyway, right. That was great. Thank you, Lewis. Thank you, everyone, for watching that. We just wanted to do the video justice. And if we share a 12-minute high definition video on Zoom, it would glitch and it would not do it justice. So thank you, everyone, for following the link. Thank you for Lewis for creating that film. But also he created it over the past year and he did it safely and he did it professionally, and it was a really difficult time to create a piece of media work. So massive round of applause to Lewis for that beautiful piece of work. Honestly, we are all just so delighted with it. We think he's incredibly talented and one of the nicest people in the world to work with. The film is now premiered on our YouTube channel, so please share it far and wide. You're the first people to see it. We are launching it on Monday from the Wildlife Trust with some press and publicity. So we'll nudge you all on Monday, and do share it on all your platforms and social media channels if you can, to spread the word far and wide, because it deserves it, because it's so fab. Now, there was the ability, we're just getting loads of lovely comments, which is great, but I better not stand and read them now. There is the ability to send questions to us, to the hosts, during this conference, so please do that. We've had a couple of ones in, but not, nothing that I'll speak out publicly, not because they're rude or anything, just because they were specific things. But yes, do remember that in the next session. But we'll take this opportunity to catch up with time, because we want to stick to the programme. We do appreciate these online conferences can be really intense, so we need our breaks. So we'll go straight into Emily's video and do just that. So Emily is founder of Beach Guardian, which is an incredible initiative. And if you haven't heard about Beach Guardian, after the conference, get Googling and check out everything she does. But she has been part of and supported Yorkshire Beach Rangers in the past 5 years. And she's very kindly shared this message to finish off the first session of our conference. Okay, so I am now going to open up Emily's video. Apologies, this isn't as smooth as it probably could be. Now, Emily, stop talking. I'm now going to share my screen. Here we go. Right, so everybody over to Emily, and please enjoy.
Hey everybody, Emily from Beach Guardian here. I hope you're all really enjoying the conference so far. A little bit of time travelling here for you. I'm not live on the beach right now. I'm actually probably right now sat at my desk like many of you watching the conference, and I'm sure that I've been absolutely loving it so far. Now, when the lovely Jo asked me to contribute to this year's conference, I absolutely jumped at the opportunity, mostly for the selfish reason that I myself, on a personal level, just wanted to say a huge thank you and have the opportunity to say a huge thank you to the Yorkshire Beach Rangers Network for everything that they've done to support me, to support Beach Guardian. It has been a true pleasure to work with you all over the last few years. And, the Yorkshire Beach Rangers Conference, to me, has a strong hold in my heart, because actually it was integral to my confidence as a science communicator, as a campaigner, because actually this time 2 years ago in the conference 2019, the amazing Jax asked me to present and talk at the Yorkshire Beach Rangers conference. Now, what that did for me mustn't be underestimated, because just that nod of approval, that seal of approval, and asking me to come and talk at the conference to all of you guys was incredibly empowering, because there's nothing more powerful that you can do than to give a young person a voice. And just that nod made me feel like I was being heard, and it did give me that voice. And I feel like having that confidence has been the milestone event that has led me to do everything else since. So thank you so much. And actually, there was one other thing that I've just remembered, actually, walking along the coastal path on my daily walk today down to my local beach here in Trevone Bay. I remembered something that was also quite important to my development into my role at Beach Guardian. I'm with Bella, she's here with me, just going for a dog walk. And we were walking along, and I was looking out to the rocky shore here, and I remembered that in my first year of my undergraduate degree at the University of Plymouth, it may surprise you to know that I had a particularly high affinity for my bed and watching Netflix. I wasn't particularly proactive, but actually one weekend I came home and my dad convinced me to go on a rock pool ramble with the Cornwall Wildlife Trust. And at the time,
Abby, can you unmute yourself? Sorry.
A limpet trying to detach it from the rock, and Adele told him straight and made sure he wasn't going to do it again. And I heard her say it to my brother, and I thought, absolute queen, I want to be like that. These beach rangers are bosses, and I found it so inspiring. And maybe it was the kick that I needed to get the momentum to be proactive and to instigate change. So I owe a lot to the Yorkshire Beach Rangers conference and the Yorkshire Beach Rangers network overall. But actually, aside from all the selfish reasons and aside from all of the personal gain that I've got from the Yorkshire Beach Rangers, I wanted to give a huge shout out to you for everything that you've done for young people in general. I've previously described my age group, the young adults, as the forgotten generation, because when we talk about big systemic environmental issues like climate change, for instance, we talk about the adults that are going to implement policies and are going to save us. And then we talk about the children in schools that are going to be affected by this because they are the next generation. But what about the people in the middle? My age group, the young adults, we're forgotten. But Cornwall Wildlife Trust and the Yorkshire Beach Rangers didn't forget us. So thank you so much for not forgetting us, for giving us a voice and empowering us. The most powerful thing that you can do is give a young person a voice. And that's exactly what you've done. So thank you so much. I hope you all enjoy the rest of the conference, and please take care and stay safe.
Oh, thank you so much, Emily. That was such a lovely video. And it's lovely to see the sea, isn't it, while we're all sat at our computer. I'm so sorry about it. This is the stuff you learn with online glitching, that if I start typing or I press mute, it then stops the sound. All those little things that we then learn in the middle of a conference with 130 people. So thank you for your patience with that. That video is on the Wildlife Trust's Marine YouTube channel. So you can watch that. That was premiered again today. All the videos are, so you can watch that again in your break. So some people appear not to be able to comment to everyone in the chat, only named people. So we'll make sure we change that in the break. So that's
no, sorry, Abs, that's on purpose, isn't it? Because it's just direct messages.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Only co-hosts and hosts can comment to all people. Apologies, but it just makes it more manageable than 130 people. So we can then pull out questions easier or specific issues. So thank you, everybody. Morwenna has, I think, is going to put the link up again for the YouTube channel. And everyone, we will stick to time. We will see you back here at 11:30 on the dot to start session 2 on nature recovery and taking action for nature. So thank you all for your time, and we'll see you in 15 minutes. Cheers.